I'm Alexis.
And I'm Lanette.
And this is Getting the D.
No. Some background on what is happening here, aka this absolute giggle fest. As soon as we finished saying, and this is Getting the D, Cash was sitting in front of us and let out the biggest fart, and it was just the absolute worst timing, and we could not get it together for anything.
No.
I fucking hate him.
Wonderful. Why am I crying laughing from that?
Oh, because that was fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. So Lex, what's going on? How was your week?
My week was not as eventful as last week, but it was great.
Mine wasn't either. I'm like, what happened last week? But I think I said that last week also.
He did. Well, we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this week was nice though. See the episode?
Yeah. It was so, okay. So I think like the first one, there was so much like nervous energy. And then we also drank a lot of wine and like champagne because it was the first one. Yes. And so it was like fun and whatever. But then the last one was so vulnerable because it was like real shit.
Yeah, for sure. So real.
But so many people reached out and were like, oh, I love like the authenticity and like how vulnerable it was. And like, we're cool with it being like more serious.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I realize I laugh a whole lot and I should chill, but.
No, why?
No, I say like a lot
laughter.
And laugh a lot.
Wait. Pause. I have to fucking stop saying like.
Here I go laughing again.
It is every third word.
Yeah, I was doing it too. I think we both were.
Do we speak like that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I don't know though.
Maybe
I could be very wrong. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's okay. We're gonna be aware.
Okay. Awareness. Turn it on.
But we're still on the D word of divorce this week.
I think this is probably gonna make it to like, I don't know if it'll be next week as well, but I mean it is literally a divorce podcast, so I think that continuing it into this episode totally makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. What are we talking about this week?
So
with the D word of divorce.
So this is more, I think last week was more of like, how did the divorce happen? What were like the initial stages, like limbo, all that. And now we're going to get more into like the logistics, like literally what does the divorce look like? Like, for example, going to the courthouse when you're like having a mentee be on the daily and dealing with that and like dealing with separating, like obviously like we don't have kids, but like separating the dogs and separating kind of like families, because you don't just lose one person.
Yeah, no,
friend groups.
You lose a lot more than one person.
Yeah,
that makes it harder for sure.
Yeah,
but I think what's different with us is you filed immediately, really, right after everything. And then, which I was thinking about. Like, I filed kind of a little bit further, like, from when we separated, I guess you can say. So it was the same, but a little different with, I guess, logistics of paperwork.
I think my thing was, so in PA, you have to wait 90 days after you file your initial papers.
Yeah, they call it like arresting or some sort of ridiculous word.
Well, it kind of makes sense because I'm sure that
like
people...
a cool off period.
Yeah, because I'm sure that people get like, they're like, fuck you, I'm filing for divorce. Yeah. And the courts are like, hold on, take a beat.
The courts are like, take a beat.
Babe, hold on.
You might not really want to.
Yeah, and honestly, in 90 days, you do get a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst idea.
It's like a probation at a new job.
Yeah. They're like, are you sure?
They're like, just wait a minute. You might not want to, but.
So I wanted to just get that show on the road.
Yeah.
3 months seemed like an eternity. And I was like, let's just like get that timetable rolling. And if for some reason I don't want a divorce anymore, then I just like won't file the final paperwork.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
But presenting that to him so early was terrible.
Yeah, he was like, already? Like, we're just doing the papers.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah. I honestly just stayed in my situation, like for probably the first 6 months. So our wedding, I guess I should break down the scandalous timeline a little bit.
Break down the scandalous.
The scandalous timeline. October 2021 was the wedding. And
the event.
The event. Now, yes, we were married a few years by then, regardless. I think I was on that high of, we were renovating a house. The wedding was finally here, and it was...
Because COVID.
Yeah, COVID. And there wasn't any conscious mind of mine being like, I want to end this. Like, anytime near, on, around that wedding. Like, it was here. We were doing it. It was exciting.
Oh my God, yeah, because you had waited so long too.
Yeah, it was like it was finally here, and no one had gone anywhere, and everyone was excited, and we were excited, and
you want to finally like wear your dress, do your hair, have your glam, do the day,
have a day finally. And then a few months into that, my grandma was really sick, and in January 2022, she had passed away, and that I like to kind of reference that because that was like a huge wake up call on so many levels for me, and like losing her was just awful, and it really brought up like life is short, even though she lived a long, beautiful life. It kind of woke me up in a way of deciding like, what are you doing? You're not happy, and everything like you're feeling right now is valid, but like how do I say that out loud, and how do I tell him? So I would say right after that, end of January, early February 2022, I was expressing I wanted to go. And I wasn't happy, and I stayed until about end of May, early June, and that's when I decided to move out, which was rough, and honestly didn't file paperwork.
Not
all the paperwork.
Not the paperwork.
Well, the paperwork, whatever. At least probably not for like a full year. So when we did that, the court was like, well, you can say that you've been separated for a full year, so we can just get this through.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, it felt like it was quicker, but it wasn't because I waited to do it. So it was a little different. You know what I mean?
Because if you're separated for a year,
they're like, we
then
can
you
get
can
this
do
through.
It faster.
Yeah, there's like, you completely went beyond the probation period of 90 days. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can agree on that date. So that's how it was with like my situation. And I also had a really close friend who was able to help me with that paperwork. And that made things a lot easier. And
wait, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go.
She wound up helping me also, because when I texted you, you were like, let me text her.
Yeah, it was like, let me get that. It was like, I don't know, a certain form. It was like the initial form.
Yeah.
And I remember filing like the final paperwork, and the woman was like, are you ready to be divorced? I was like, yeah, it was so weird, but also, I don't know, kind of funny. But
you're
weird.
like, I have been ready.
It felt like I was like, are you ready to see like your maker or something? I don't know. It was very weird.
Are you ready
to change your life?
No, literally.
I was like, oh, this is a little dramatic, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that happened, I remember just going to the parking lot and just like, it was such a bittersweet feeling of, oh, wow, my life is about to change, but also relief, but also sadness.
Yeah.
It was just so many like bittersweet feelings. So yeah. How were you? I mean, you did it like pretty immediately. So there was just a lot, even more intense emotions I can imagine.
I was still in like the kind of trauma blocking phase of everything. And I got fully glam in a hot ass outfit, and I marched the fuck into that courthouse like Kim Kardashian.
As you should. I don't even remember what I was wearing. But baby. That makes so much sense. You would think that would be me. Like, hilarious. Okay, I love that for you.
It was... Yeah. I was in a power suit.
No, you weren't.
No, I wasn't.
Did you have this pony in?
Oh, I had a pony, I think. Yeah, I was in a pony.
Snatched pony.
In a pony and a fucking coat. And I said, I need a divorce, baby. Where's the office?
I need a divorce. Someone get me... I gotta file for divorce.
Can someone direct me to the family courts?
Oops. What?
Why did it do that?
What was that? That was a celebration?
Was that the computer that did that? Or does your camera do that?
The balloon just popped up. Maybe because we were celebrating divorce.
Was it the cigarette?
Was it the cigarette? Where did the balloons come from? What? Oh! Why does it keep doing this?
That's so funny.
What's happening?
I don't know.
It can't happen again.
So that cannot happen again.
We can't. Okay. All right.
So I marched in there about my goddamn business.
As you should.
And it had been like 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks after I found everything out.
Yeah.
And I got all the papers. But honestly, it's the whole kind of like point of even bringing this up is the fact that like it is very hard to be emotionally going through all this. And then you're like, oh my God, I have to go through like a pa.gov website and find forms to take to a courthouse right now. Like, I don't know.
And they are not the jolliest people to deal with. You're just like walking in like, can someone help?
No, literally.
Like you have the wrong form. And also you need a money order. Like you can't just pay by like a check. I don't know. It's a little complicated and ridiculous over there. Yeah. But are we surprised?
No, of course not. No. Nothing can be easy there. But yeah, it was just like dealing with that on top of like just bugging the fuck out generally, like about life was super annoying. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the courthouse was very interesting, and I have to go back still because I have to like finalize. Mine, so I'll have to go back again.
Yeah.
So
I want to cross my legs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I look awkward. Okay, this is better.
I feel like things were like amicable, so it's not like we had to go to mediation or any of that stuff. So I think that can definitely complicate it and definitely like
make it harder. I mean, you don't have to go in front of a judge and separate custody and everything like that. So we can acknowledge that our process was, somewhat easier than most.
And it was still hard though.
Yeah, like it was still not easy.
We had like the simplest divorces, and it still is complicated.
Yeah, it felt really. Yeah.
It's just overwhelming, and you're like, I don't want to do this.
No.
Yeah. But speaking of like not having kids to separate and stuff, you had 2 dogs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have a dog, my ex and I kept mine because I very much feel like this dog is mine.
Yeah.
It's my son.
Yeah, in my case, love my dogs.
Yeah.
So when it came to leaving, I was the one to leave the house that was built by, both of us. And I couldn't bring 2 dogs to an apartment, unfortunately. And we talked about like separating them, and that was even harder to like imagine because I don't think that would go well for either one of them. Mm-hmm. They are obsessed with each other. So, and also I was just living a lifestyle that was not conducive to taking care of 2 dogs. I'm, working a whole lot and traveling, and I had to get real about that. But there was a lot of like guilt, and not only leaving him, but also the dogs with him. So yeah, I feel like when I decided to leave, it was hard. I didn't want that house only because it was next to all his friends, and we bought on this like beautiful block in South Philly where, a lot of people and a lot of his friends are. And I didn't want to keep it or try and buy him out because it would have I wouldn't be able to move on. Let's just say that. I don't think. And I was already uprooting his life. I was like, the least I can do is, give him that house and I'll go.
Not change everything.
Yeah. But also uprooting my own and realizing in that moment, like, oh, I have to go find a whole new place and like furnish it and figure it out. And I mean, I was paying like the mortgage and rent simultaneously for a long time, just out of fear of like legal things. And that was, I don't know how I did that, honestly, looking back.
But you do. And that's the thing. Like, I think that a lot of times, and we actually just talked about this the other day, I think that initially, and particularly in your case, because you made a conscious decision to like make this change, whereas like mine was kind of handed to me. So we actually talked about this last week where like you made a decision ahead of time and like you could kind of see the mountain ahead of you. And I think that it can definitely feel like very insurmountable, honestly.
Yeah.
Where do you even start with that? Yeah. But the thing of it is, you figure it out. Like you do. And really do. You don't tackle the mountain all at once. Like you don't run up. It's like little by little by little. And so I think that like in the very initial stages, it's so hard to even imagine that you're going to be able to go through all of that. But for example, like paying your rent, furnishing a whole new place, and carrying a mortgage. That sounds, I couldn't even imagine. Like, that alone would make someone not want to do it.
Yeah, and it's like but can't complain out loud because I'm the one who wants this and I'm the one who wants to leave and do this and start this new life. So it's not like I'm going to sit there and be like, well, I got to do this. And it's like, well, I'm choosing to do this, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it and suck it up and figure it out. And you do.
Yeah.
And you kind of just take it day by day. You don't,
exactly.
Like you said, you don't like see the end result. You're just kind of like, okay, I moved into my friend's apartment and now I have to make sure like he can afford the house as well. So I'm going to keep paying it. And then I'm going to try and find my own apartment, and you just keep going. Yeah. And then ultimately, you find some sort of common ground, but
so for me, I just couldn't stay there because of the betrayal. Like, it just felt way too heavy to continue living in a space that we built together and to be betrayed, because it just hurt so bad. Yeah. And so I decided that I wanted to move out. Like, honestly, as soon as I decided that we were getting divorced, I was like, I need to move. Yeah. And so we still have the house. But I, not that I feel that he needs to pay for what he did at all, but like, I was put in this situation. And so I decided, you're going to pay for that. And I'm moving out based on choices that you made. Right. So I'm going to move out and I'm going to pay my rent, and I'm not going to carry the mortgage as well.
Yeah. It's almost like, it's like opposite in a way. Yeah. It's like, my ex could very much be like, yeah, you're choosing this, so you're going to pay. Yeah. And you're going to this. Not that he did. I just felt like, I was like, I need to do this. Yeah. Because I would never leave someone high and dry like that. But then I'm like, well, at the same time, I could have just forcibly been like, let's put this on the market right now. Let's do this. And there was an immense, again, the guilt creeps in. So I waited it out for a very long time, a lot longer than I think most people would have. And I remember people saying that to me, but it's how it went. And that's okay. I don't really like need to change any of it looking back. No. Like, it's okay. And yeah, we figured it out.
And it worked out, and now it's fine.
And he bought me out of the property, and he's living in that gorgeous house with those gorgeous dogs.
Being a single parent is really hard.
Single dog parent.
Being a single dog mom is so rough. Honestly, because I want to like live my life, and like I need to be out of the house. Like just to avoid kind of, another thing we talked about, like avoid sitting with my shit, as we said.
Did you sit with your shit last week?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I did.
I'm proud of you.
I did.
Good.
I went to bed early, and I thought lots of thoughts. But yeah, it was hard because in the beginning, like, I wanted to go out. I wanted to be with my friends. I didn't want to sit home and be lonely. Yeah. But then I'm also working full time, right? So I'm out of the house at least 40 hours a week. Yeah. And then I also want to go out with my friends, and I also want to go to the gym. And I feel like so guilty for leaving him all the time. So I think it's hard to leave the dogs, but it's also like hard to take them, because now you're
full responsibility.
You're everything for them. Like getting them dog walks all the time. And someone, like, in the very beginning when I was really going through it and I was so stressed about Cash, the dog, someone was like, why do you think that, like, your life changed and your ex's life changed? Why do you think that the dog, his life is going to stay the same or better? Like, everyone's life is changing in this. Everyone's. And that was so helpful to be like, oh, okay, wait, maybe I can't be perfect for him. Like, things are different now. I have to figure things out, and we'll just get used to a new normal. And we do.
That's exactly what it is, a new normal.
Yeah. And I have, like, really been working on, like, maybe feeling a little bit less guilty for leaving him, because I have to care for myself too. Yeah. For sure. And I'm such a dog person. Oh yeah. Like crazy. Yeah. So I'm obsessed with dogs. So when people are like, oh, well, he's just sleeping, or it's just a dog, I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, when he's sleeping, he feels my presence. Like, I should be there for him. Totally. I should be watching him sleep.
No, yeah. He knows. He's dreaming about you.
Right. He feels my essence. Owners. And so I would just feel so guilty every time I was out of the house. But so it's like something that I'm still working on. But yeah, so leaving the dogs is very hard. Taking the dogs is very hard.
Either way is hard. And I think, I talk to many people who have gone through this as well. And it's like, how long do you actually share them for? You know what I mean? How long do you actually go back and forth and like meet up and like share custody of dogs? It's realistically, it ends up one person takes the dogs.
It kind of
tough. I know some people try, but like, yeah.
It was our plan, but already it's kind of like not happening.
Yeah.
So you separate the dogs and then the families. Yeah, that's the thing. Like there are siblings that you love, like in-laws that you wind up loving so much that you unfortunately have to kind of like part ways with.
Yeah.
There's a fuzzy on my mouth. There we go.
There's a lot of like divided loyalties, which is a good way to put it.
Totally.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, you have to kind of come to terms with this family that you also connected with for 11 to 13 years, whatever it may be, is no longer going to be in your life as well.
Right.
And whether it's like you're at fault or they're at fault or whatever happened, that's still difficult. And seeing like which ones avoid you and which ones are still like, hey, like I just want to reach out and say like it's all love no matter what, or I don't know, it's difficult. Even your own family, like it can be tough. Like at least when in my situation choosing to go, like it was hard for like obviously initially my mom was like, what, are you sure? And then like my brothers were like, dude, are you kidding? Are you sure? Like this is crazy. Or like but in the end obviously supportive, but they were just as close, like they were like his brother. So I realized that I was breaking up a lot of relationships by doing this, and that makes it even harder.
Yeah, well, right, because you're like, I'm leaving this and I'm asking you guys to also, kind of like your brothers, for example.
Yeah. And it's
not that you're asking them to, but it's kind of like,
there's like, okay, listen,
you got to ride with me.
Right. Like blood is blood.
Right.
No, but my younger brother would like golf with him still and everything, which I was like, all right, cool, fine. Like that's whatever you have to do. But
does he still?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think there's some space now. But still, again, like all love if they ever seen each other, and they always approach each other, and
I think everyone needs time.
Same thing with if my parents ever saw him, same thing.
So when it comes to dividing families, I loved my in-laws, and that felt like a huge loss too, right? Because I am losing him and I'm losing them, and I used to talk to his mom all the time, and she lives really close by, and I don't know, it just, at first I wanted to hold on to everybody. Like I was like still talking to my in-laws a lot and like allowing, I don't know, just like kind of keeping them in the loop, because I don't know, it just felt right and it felt good because they were my family for so long. And then also reaching out to his mom and honestly crying with his mom because what the hell,
up. So then it's like she's like, I'm apologetic, but I also love you,
right? And
I don't know,
right?
I don't want to speak for her, but.
And losing me,
a daughter
sucks too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I definitely, it's only been like 5 months, I guess, 4 or 5 months, and I already don't talk to them nearly as much, but it is all love, for sure.
But how's your family?
Hates him.
Yeah, naturally,
right? It's not that they hate him, but it's just like, we don't fuck with you, obviously, because you hurt our girl, and that totally makes sense. So I think anytime that there's infidelity, like that's gonna be how it goes.
Totally. Well, even with mine, even though there wasn't, you
know
what I mean?
Yeah, or whoever. Yeah.
No, yeah. It's just real, and I get it, because it's like if roles reverse, like who knows? Like my family would probably be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, at one point though, it's interesting because I have a lot of very strong women in my family, which has definitely transferred to me.
Well, clearly,
But like in all ways, you cannot tell me what to do. You cannot, like I am so independent, almost to a fault, like almost like, where I have to experience everything myself. Like I don't listen to actually anybody.
Yeah.
And I have to do everything myself. But anyway, women in my family are like, you go girl, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. Like, you should go. Like, you deserve better. You don't deserve that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Only one of the men, who is more old school and older, said to me, some women are just too good to pass up.
Excuse
me?
I said, sir, what?
are you on my side or no?
Like, you can exit stage left.
And then he was like, what does he want? As in my ex. Who the fuck? He wants to have sex with other women. That's what he wants. So what about, like, isn't that so crazy? I was so mad.
That's unfortunate, babes.
I know.
I don't understand that.
Well, oh my God.
Like, what a toxic response. Was he 65 and older, maybe?
Yeah, and I mean, like European, just, I think that very, like, old school, like, just very Greek? Different.
That's, yeah.
My lovely Greek family. Yeah.
Love the Greeks, but...
Oh my God, though. I was like...
That's a bold statement, sir.
Like, I'm sorry, but your answer was supposed to be, you're the hottest woman in the world. I can't believe that someone would cheat on you.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
Right.
You go, girl.
Period.
And if that's true or not, that's what you say.
Yeah, that's what you say.
You say that.
You say that.
I need to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. That's obnoxious.
So, he has...
Not surprised. I mean, just by, I don't know this man, but...
Based on characteristics, though, it tracks. For sure. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The women are like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Families are tough. They can be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what the situation is. And I find it the most interesting is when people are holding on, at least with my scenario and my situation, like when they're holding on to so much anger, I'm like, for what? Him and I are okay now. Like, we're good. Like, we're civil, so why are you still, like, grizzing me in the streets?
Grizzing.
Why are you still talking smack 2 years later?
Because
it's just, like...
The thing is, a lot of people, like...
Please get a hobby.
I was just going to say, people don't have stuff going on, so they just want to hang on to other people's stuff.
Yeah, love and light.
Who cares?
Here, do it with me. Love and light.
Love and light. I think it's interesting, though, because people that love you will get more angry than you do. At least in my situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure it is for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Your ex.
Yeah, because you hurt their person in a way that they don't like. And it's normal. And I feel that. I'm like, if the roles are reversed, I get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
But I think, and I've said this before, like, I was mad a couple of times, but there was never this rage where I was so angry at him. I was always disappointed and always really sad. And I would, like, intermittently get angry because he would, like, say something that would, like, piss me off or whatever. But people are so much more angry than I am about this. Yeah. And I'm like, you guys, but it's okay. Like, things happen for a reason, and we're cool. Yeah. And it's all good. Like, I'm good. But people just, like, I don't hate him. Yeah. But some of my friends do. Yeah. It's just amazing that people will just carry more energy about a situation than you do.
Yeah. So I know this was heavy. This topic was a little more heavy, and I don't know. It's just important, but
the divorce ones are going to be.
They were. Yeah.
It's not a light topic.
It's not a light topic. However, we were just thinking, and we would love to hear from some of the women that, have some stories for us. And we already have had some people reach out, but we truly would love to hear from you.
Yeah. People that have experiences, if they're similar, if they're different, like, we want to hear about it. We want to talk about it.
Scandalous story or anything that,
let's hear the scandals
you want to share on the pod. We would love to have you. So we would love to just, hear from you maybe in our DMs. And
but if people aren't ready to put their faces out there, which I completely understand, like, this is very bold, like, just message us, because we would love to chat about people's stories.
Like, we can share your story. We can actually just read it off and be like, this is anonymous and this is what happened to someone. And so, we just want to keep building this community, because this is what this is about. Mm-hmm.
It's really not about our stories.
It's not. And I think we just had to get it all out there so you can hear what we have to say about what we went through. So you can feel like you're either relating or someone relating. But I think it's time to hear from you all there. And also, getting into our next D word, which... Stay tuned. Well, cheers to episode 4. Look me in the eyes.
Right in the eyes.
You know how it goes. With our straws.
We'll see you guys next week.
Love you, babes.
Bye.
Mwah.